everybody, it's Pat Jones, and I'm here with another TurfZoom from Aquatrolls. And what a joy it is to have my friend Chad Will join us today. Chad, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, PJ. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So tell everybody about the heaven that is Southern Indiana in the summertime. Is it pretty hot down there right now?
This is not where you want to live and grow grass for a living. Okay. So we just finally got some rain. It's been almost 30 days with 95-degree days, and we finally got some rain. And so that's been a blessing, but somewhere around an inch of rain. So that's been a really good thing, but it's been a tough summer. It really has been a tough summer from a water management standpoint.
So as the head of Tenbarge Seed, you've seen the ups and downs of Southern Indiana and the entire territory that your company covers for a lot of years. And so you've learned, I think, to kind of see the highs and the lows with hundreds and hundreds of superintendent customers you've had over the years. How do you talk them down off the ledge when it gets really bad? How do you tell them it'll be okay and everything will be fine again someday?
It's simple. You look at them and you say, guys, it's just grass. It'll be there tomorrow. Your job will be there tomorrow. So don't sweat it. And I'm telling you, if you're in this area where I'm at, you're sweating it because it's tough. It's tough growing grass here. So, you know, and I have a saying that I put out on Twitter and people have heard me say, God grows grass till the 4th of July. After that, it takes a professional. And that's the truth. If you grow grass in Southern Indiana, you can grow grass anywhere.
Spot on, spot on. So you give us the 30-second version of your company, and then we'll talk about how it's changed a little bit recently. You guys have been around for a long time, and your company's focused not just on the little world of golf, but on some other stuff too. So tell us about Tenbarge.
Yeah, so we've been in business 80 plus years. I've been here 30 years. This past June, I've been here 30 years, family business. My grandfather started it in 1940, and we've done a lot of things since then. And in recent years, since I've hopped on board, we've gotten heavily involved in the golf course market, which is kind of my baby. That's my passion, more so than the other markets, but I love all the markets. There's so many great people in this industry. And, but golf is probably my passion, much because I like to play the game, and I've met so many great people across the country that's involved in golf. So, but we've been in business for a long time, and in recent years we've grown our footprint a little bit more. We used to be based in little Southern Indiana, and that was really about it. And we've started to expand that through, more so than anything else, through some product lines that we were able to access, and they gave us bigger territories to cover. So that helped us grow the business. So that was a big part of how we've become who we are now.
So the distribution end of things has been always changing and sort of constantly flowing in that 30 years of time. So, but recently you decided it was time to make a change in the way you were doing business too. And you joined forces with another friend of ours, Kevin Connolly and the Connolly family from Landscape Supply Company. Tell us about that kind of joining forces, that merger that you guys put together.
Well, you know, being that we're a family business ourselves, and the pride that comes with that, and the fact that I'm third generation, that was going to be a tough decision on who, if we decided to merge with someone else, who that might be. And so our goals, our culture, everything had to align. And when Patrick and Kevin Connolly came along, it was very clear early on that they shared the same passion, the same values, the same culture as we did. Family business, they're 70-something years old, we're 80-something years old. And coming together, it was very seamless, really. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps when you all been friends for so long, and I'd seen you all work together in the past, so I wasn't terribly surprised about this, but at the same time, it's a really a reflection, don't you think, of what's going on in the modern day distribution business too? Of you've got to be bigger, you've got to offer agronomic expertise too, right? And I think that's something else your two companies have in common is you have a lot of salespeople who are turf heads, there are people who are committed to this industry. So I think that was a natural connection. Tell us about how you try to work with customers and how your team tries to work with customers in an advisory role.
Well, we chose a few years back to really try to put our stamp on fertility. That was kind of our thing, was nutrition. It was like, where can we position ourselves in the marketplace and be different, provide value, and obviously always on a consultative basis. We got big into soil testing and seeing what was available, what wasn't available, and so forth. And we just felt like that was an angle for us as a smaller company to compete against a lot of our larger competitors. So we tried not to make it real diverse and broad scale. It was kind of more, let's focus. Here's where we want to make most of our focus the loudest. And it seemed to work for us. And we had some unique products that came along for us that allowed us to come into a superintendent's office and say, hey, I'm not here to sell you XYZ that 4 other distributors can provide you. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to maybe change your mindset a little bit, make you think a little bit differently. And all in the process of saving on labor and staff, the issues that we have today. That's been a big focus. It's fertility, but not only that, but it's how can we help the superintendent do more with less, because that's what they have to do nowadays.
Right. And a growing trend towards using less nitrogen and trying to find a way to manage down that end level by helping soils. So along the way, that's kind of where you guys got involved with Redox and have been involved for many years. But what do you think has changed that's made so many people adopt this technology here the last 5 or 6 years, and particularly since I think Aquatrols has been involved with it? What have you seen that's been different?
Well, I've been in this 30 years, and I can remember when I first got into golf sales, and every summer guys would lose grass. And it was like, well, I guess it's part of living in Southern Indiana. We just lost grass. Well, as time went on, I started looking at what we were doing and what these guys were applying. And I truly believe that we got ourselves in a world of hurt years ago with too much nitrogen. And they didn't even know there was too much nitrogen because there's something sitting in the soil that's releasing based on what Mother Nature gives it. And it's out of the control of the superintendent. And so when Redox came along, it was a way to dial down your nitrogen however you want and have total control of your nitrogen. And so when I thought about the nitrogen issues that we had in the past and leaning golf courses down to different types of nutrition besides just nitrogen, humic acid, fulvic acid, P and K, the minors that come along with it, and get away from the nitrogen and not worry so much about color and growth, where you could dial it into a daily basis, guys started to not lose grass anymore. And so it always came down for me. It was always nitrogen and also water management. I mean, guys would overwater, underwater, whatever it may be. But for me, I focused on the nitrogen. I wanted to reduce nitrogen levels.
Mm-hmm.
And Redox was perfect for that. I mean, absolutely perfect, because they choose not to play in that game. They don't play in the nitrogen game. They're more about P and K and all the, the benefits outside of that, humic acid, fulvic acid, and the minors and so forth. And they chelate it in a way that it's tremendous. It doesn't lock up. It's available to the plant. And it's just given us tremendous results.
Yeah, I think that what you're talking about mirrors this trend that we've seen with superintendents wanting to use less nitrogen and wanting to have improved soils and stuff. How you work with superintendents using Redox, how has that changed over time? How has it evolved?
Thousands of soil tests. That's really the starting point for us. It's like, don't listen to us. Let's look at your soils. Let's start there. And we started doing soil tests through Logan Labs, and with Redox, and they have their own format, and it was even dummies like me could understand the results that were coming in. And so it all started, and it became more of a consultative type setup versus, hey, this is what we got and you should try this. It was, let's start with a soil as our base and then move from there. So lots and lots of soil tests. Once you get a few done, it's not like you got to do them all the time, but it's a way to get the process started if they're willing to open their minds and look at what else is out there versus the traditional NPK fertilizers.
Yeah. When you said an important word, it is a process. And it's a program that takes a long time to get right. But most people see immediate results too. So I think one of the myths and realities about this stuff is, oh, you have to use it forever before you notice any difference, or oh, it's really expensive and the differences are minor. How do you respond when people say stuff like that?
Well, when I first got in the business, it was all about cost per bag, cost per unit, not cost per acre or cost per thousand. But we've taken it even further. Now it's really not even about all that. Now it's about, where am I saving in labor possibly? And that's what we've seen by reducing nitrogen. We've reduced clippings, and we've reduced mowing frequency. We've got superintendents that are mowing half as much as they used to, and others don't believe it, but it's the truth. And it just comes in time. As you buy into a program and you go down that road, it happens. It doesn't happen overnight due to all the organic nitrogen that may be sitting in your soil. So you got to kind of mine that out. Eventually you get it to where you want, and then you're almost dialing it in on a daily basis. But for me anymore, it's about labor. It's about how can we reduce clippings? How can we reduce mowing frequency and yet have great playing surfaces?
Yeah. The other one I hear a lot from people is healthier greens, less hand watering. And that's probably one of the most labor intensive and frustrating things that every superintendent has to deal with. So that's I think another underutilized or under talked about benefit.
Yep, absolutely.
So as the business has changed and you've evolved, it's been kind of fun to watch you enjoy a little more family time. Tell me about what you get to do when you're not working your butt off.
Well, I tell you, I've been blessed. I mean, the new regime, if you will, the new company, they still have allowed me to do what I enjoy doing, which is being out with superintendents, being out with people, doing the PR work and stuff. So I've never considered it work. I still don't consider, and I can't believe I get paid what I get paid to do what I do. So I've been blessed in many ways, but it allows me to, spend time with my grandson. I've got a grandson, and as you well know,
really?
that trumps everything. The round of golf I was going to play. Oh, Isaiah's coming over. No, forget the golf. We'll do that another day.
I'm so happy for you. It's the best thing in the world, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is. So, family time is important. It always has been important, but I think as you get older, you appreciate that family time even more. And so that's where I am. I love to play golf. I love to play, and I still try to attend every superintendent's meeting I can and do all that. But under the new company that we're in, they've allowed me to do things that I like to do. Yeah. And that's being out in the public, shaking hands and kissing babies, if you will. I love doing that. I love playing golf, seeing you guys.
So we've both been in this business a long time. We were talking earlier about seeing things sort of evolve, but there's still stuff we'd like to have changed. So if there was one thing you could sort of wave your magic wand over and change that would help superintendents, what would that be?
As I go around, and I've been to a lot of different golf courses over the years, I see how hard these guys work. It doesn't matter what your salary says on paper. By the end of the year, when you see how many hours you've put in, it's a lot of work, and those guys earn their pay, and they're so good at what they do. And it's a profession. It really is. It's a profession. You go to school, you get a degree, and you come out and you grow grass for a living. And for me, I would love to see from an ownership standpoint level down to management and so forth, just a little more care and respect and for the superintendent. I think in the public side, the superintendent has become more valuable, but I'm not so sure at the ownership level. And when I go around and see guys that are out there putting in 60, 70 hours a week, it's 100 degrees, they're staying late, hand watering, whatever, and they don't have health insurance, that really bothers me. I think that should be offered at every club. And an owner should not take a paycheck, in my opinion, unless their staff has benefits offered to them. That's just how I feel. That should be priority one. And I see it more and more all the time. They're getting away without offering those benefits that they need to offer.
It pops up way too often, and it's just not right, so yeah, I agree with you 100%. We've made great strides, and there's way more recognition of superintendents than there ever was before, yet there are still glaring holes in the way businesses treat them as employees and partners. So hopefully that can change a little bit. So one way that you communicate about that is on Twitter, and you've gotten pretty adept at Twitter. So number one, what's your Twitter handle so everyone can follow?
It's TurfDoc1. You can find it there.
TurfDoc1. And number
Yeah.
two, so what are people going to find? Because you some days you're waxing poetic and offering sort of philosophy, and some days you're saying, hey, now is the time to do X if you happen to be trying to grow grass in Southern Indiana. So what's your strategy for Twitter?
Well, that's a good question. I tried to come up with something. I wanted to keep it consistent. I mainly try to share business advice. And I think superintendents need to operate more like a business person nowadays. And so I like to put business tips out there. So usually I do a Tuesday's tip where, I read a lot and I come across some things, some quotes once in a while that stick with me. And so I like to put those out there.
So any final thoughts that you want to share with folks?
No, everything is great. I have no regrets. That merger has been tremendous for me and the staff, and we look to do great things, and we're going to expand our footprint. We're also we're involved in acquiring some more companies similar to us. Yep. And I'm involved in that, which is exciting for me. That's something new. But in general, we love the golf course business. And we're not going anywhere.
Perfect. Please don't, because we need you. So thank you once again, and make sure to tell all of our friends out there in Virginia at Landscape Supply Company hello for us. And thank you for everything you do, Chad. You've been a great friend to me and a great partner to superintendents, and I know they appreciate it, and so do I.
Awesome. Hope to see you soon, Pat. Thank you.
We will. Our paths will cross, and y'all stay tuned, because we'll have another TurfZoom for you real soon.